This is At Face Value.
What's up, everybody? Here we go again. At Face Value, episode 20. I'm Brian.
I'm Lucas.
And we have our very special guest again, our Aggie correspondent, Will. What's up, Will?
Hey guys, thank y'all for having me back again.
Yep.
Absolutely, brother.
But actually, I was thinking, dude, probably the next time we'll have you is probably after the Thanksgiving holiday, because
It's a big game coming up. We got to go to Auburn first, take care of business there, but that's a big time look ahead. That's all everybody was talking about last night. I was at the game last night. Nobody was talking about the game going on. Nobody was talking about going to Auburn. Everyone's just worried about Texas.
well,
Wait, y'all didn't like enjoy the New Mexico State game?
I mean, I think in the first quarter, 21-0. Yeah, and nobody was even paying attention.
Oh man, that's a freaking big.
I've been
matchup.
to a lot of games.
Battle of the Aggies.
I have not seen the student section clear out that early in a long time.
Oh, those freaking 2%ers.
Hey, 105,000 showed up for New Mexico State, though. So.
I thought that was like their thing. It was like Aggies don't leave early.
They
Like,
don't.
Don't
They
they
don't,
call them
but-
2%ers or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when the game's over, right at kickoff, it was kind of
Did
like,
you
well,
stay?
oh yeah, we stayed.
I mean, if you drive all the way, you gotta
Yeah,
stay.
no, we stayed.
You just
Yeah.
have to at that point.
They don't leave early until they do.
But man, yeah, it's just a great matchup.
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm sure the ratings on that game were great.
I love how the SEC loves to schedule these cupcakes in November.
Did you say 105,000?
105,000 showed up for the New Mexico State game.
Dude, what else is there to do in Bryan College Station though? Honestly,
Yeah.
Northgate and go to
Northgate.
games.
Yeah, that's true, dude. But I thought usually like those games was like 85,000 or something. Like,
No,
Not in
Kyle
Aggieland.
Phil was rocking, baby, for all of 5 minutes.
what's the record attendance over there?
I want to say probably 109,
was thinking like
110, but
111 or
it's
something.
it's gonna break in
Well, I was
2
gonna
weeks.
say like that's what I'm trying to figure is like how
No,
many people
they're-
actually fit
they-
into that stadium. 'Cause
So
it's
they
gonna be
started
unbelievable.
camping out to pull tickets yesterday,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the line was ridiculous.
I saw a video of that. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like running.
That's
The
wild.
kids were running
dude.
already to get like nosebleeds.
Yeah, it's. I
Well,
wouldn't want to be.
Don't they
anywhere around
reserve
there.
like that entire side though for just the students?
Yeah, pretty much that one whole section, and even onto some of like where it starts curving in is all student section.
Damn, that's kind of crazy. So I wonder. Yeah, well, I guess you do still have to worry about Auburn though first because I was actually thinking about that, dude. Because like that's where a lot of teams have been getting caught up is like whenever they look ahead and then going on the
dude.
road and then we have talked about like Auburn's not a great team, but they still usually at least play tough at home. So
And they have dudes like they. It's not like the recruiting classes have been bad.
yeah,
And Hugh Freeze, I mean, he hasn't been living up to the standard like a coach in Baton Rouge. But but they have dudes. I think they have a top 10 recruiting class in 2025 already too. Like they can recruit. I don't know who would want to live in Auburn, Alabama, but like they have guys. They have dudes that are going to play. And I mean,
It's just
you know what A&M's going to do, especially if Marcel Reed
Reed's-
plays.
yeah.
I feel like I'd rather live in Auburn, Alabama than Tuscaloosa though.
Yeah.
But and Tuscaloosa
What's
finds
the
a way.
difference?
I don't know. Don't they have like that tree field or something?
They have one oak tree in the middle of town that they roll with
Toomer's
toilet
Corner?
paper.
No, dude, it's like a whole row of them. Remember, like, didn't that Alabama fan go and like poison all of them that
Dude,
one
that was
year?
for Toomer's
Yeah.
Oaks. That was just like
Yeah.
it's like a town square. I think you're thinking of the Grove in Ole Miss.
No,
The Grove is a ton of trees and like it's like, but they're a bunch of weirdos too. They like wear tuxedos and like ball gowns to tailgate in 100-degree weather.
it's because they're not used to actually being in meaningful games, so they had to find ways to entertain themselves.
I mean, they do every week. It's crazy.
yeah, well, they do a great job too. I mean,
hey,
what
Yeah.
like that's why they don't even allow like live fires in their tailgates or something. Like,
Yep, they don't. I don't think they do actually. But yeah, it was a pretty good weekend of college football, I think. Other than LSU sucking, but
then a road trip to Florida.
yeah,
yeah. You want to talk about it?
not really. I mean, dude, a lot of people. I mean, again, I'm not a big NFL guy, but obviously Dennis Allen sucked ass
Yeah,
for the Saints.
yeah.
Like, and found ways to lose games. Like, supposedly, like offensively, they were like one of the top offensive teams in the.
For the first 2 weeks.
No. Like, literally, like there was a statistic that the Saints have led for more time during games than the Kansas City Chiefs have. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, they just they find ways to lose games. I'm not kidding. And that's what LSU did against Florida. They literally found a way to lose the game. Time of possession, LSU 41 minutes. Florida 18 minutes, and they lost by 11. They lost by double digits.
Is that really the stat?
Really, LSU was they converted like 12 of 18 on third down. Like, it was crazy. They were running the ball. They rushed for like 161 yards, passed for like 300 yards, lost.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and the best statistic of it all is LSU all season through 9 games have given up 6 sacks. Last night they gave up 7 in one game. They gave up 6 in the second half. So one half of football they equaled their total. And granted, we have our right guard has been out with an injury, and he's been our best pass blocker all season. And we have a true freshman at center, so I guess there's some synergy there between the two. But still, it's inexcusable. Also, penalties. Like, LSU had 3 penalties all game and still lost.
It's crazy, too, because, like...
Turnovers, they had 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Nussmeier took care of the ball for the most part. There was that one fumble where Emory Jones, the right tackle, picked it up, tries to go make a play like freaking Leonard Fournette or something.
Boss, dude, yeah.
And just gets trucked and then loses the ball.
The moment he got touched, the ball.
So I actually wasn't watching the game during that time, but I was following on the app, and I remember it it gave the entire description like in the gameplay. It's like Nussmeier or whoever fumbled, it was like picked up by the tackle who then fumbles and it was then recovered.
But it was,
it's like,
yeah, and then LSU, like, so their starting safety like missed the first quarter for like, I don't know, discipline reasons or something. So they put in a true freshman, drops a pick on like the 30-yard line, literally in his hands, and 4 plays later, Lagway throws a touchdown pass at the beginning of the game. Like, there are things that could have happened and needed to happen. You just got to make plays, and they just didn't. And they just effing suck. That's what it comes down to. They're just not a good football team at the end of the day.
yeah, I mean,
They don't have any depth. They're just not talented on the back end. Like, and I was explaining to Will on the way here, like, you also can't expect LSU to, like, have that crazy of a jump from last year's horrific defense and just expect them to be great. Like, if you have those expectations, you're just delusional.
yeah, but
I think Nussmeier comes back. I think if they can hold down most of this recruiting class, they're going to be really, really good in a few years. It's just fans, including myself, were impatient. Like, we want to win now, and that's understandable, but sometimes that just doesn't happen.
yeah.
But
and-
it's women's college basketball. LSU's going to be really good at that, so I'm pretty pumped. Kim Mulkey, baby.
yeah, they had like the number 1 recruiting class or something.
Yeah,
so.
dude. LSU had the number 1 recruiting class in women's basketball, college baseball, and the number 4 recruiting class in men's basketball this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I still
we're not a
wonder-
football school anymore, I guess.
Yeah, just great at everything else, dude.
Yeah,
So
gymnastics, defending national
defending
champs.
champions.
welcome to the University of Texas.
God.
Yeah.
Swimming. They're good at
Hey.
swimming, diving.
Got the number 1 golfer in the nation or in the world right now. So
I mean,
you know,
Yeah, I guess.
yeah. So you see, you know,
He's an alum, though.
yeah. But you know,
You take those dubs.
It counts. Like
Yeah.
Ohio State still takes credit for Quinn Ewers, so which at this point,
They still take credit
Texas
for
fans
Joe
could probably say
Burrow.
they have
They
him,
do
so.
for Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
too. It's pretty funny.
it's good enough. Yeah, but
Yeah. But no more LSU. I'm like, they had a big win against Kansas State in basketball on the road. That's yeah.
there you go. Dude, you know, Texas State actually started decent in basketball, and then they lost to Abilene Christian yesterday. So
Did they
good.
really?
yeah,
Dude, they should have beat TCU, dude.
yeah. So like we were talking about it because like they were playing well, and then then they get beat by like 12 by Abilene Christian. I was like, okay, well, never mind.
Dude, that's a bad look.
Dude, like what's crazy though is like their basketball program was like on the way up, and then God, I can't remember the coach's name, but he got fired
Saw that.
because he was saying
Hazing or something?
yeah, cause no, who it was the one before Casper, I think was his name.
Oh.
He was the one that told them to run like they were being chased by guys with AK-47s or something.
Yeah. I mean, I would run. Seems logical.
Yeah, so it is what it is, but you know. Is what we've come to? We're going to talk about LSU gymnastics and
I'm not.
Texas State basketball.
I will talk about LSU baseball when it comes around now.
There you go. That's coming up. So, yeah, but it was a good weekend. One of the craziest things that we were actually talking about it in the chat was Dude, the Big 12 is absolutely insane right now, dude.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the way here too.
That's unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
BYU kind of seen as like the front runner, like it's theirs to lose, and then they lost it. So
We were also talking about like this could be a possibility for sure, but like the Big 12 might not get a team in.
which would be insane, dude. Like,
That can't happen, right? Because at the beginning of all this playoff stuff, I was under the assumption that the top 4 seeds are going to be the top 4, like Power 4 champions.
right? Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify because I thought that's how it was.
No,
too.
so it's the top 4 conference winners, and then the fifth highest conference winner gets most likely, or wherever, like if they're seated somewhere in the top 12, they'll get seated there, or if they're like number 15, they would get the 12 seed.
Yes.
So, which at this point, I don't know where BYU will drop to. They lost to Kansas, unranked Kansas at home,
AP dropped them to 14.
14. Yeah. So, and then what the next highest?
Colorado.
Because Kansas State lost too.
Colorado is 16.
So, yeah, so Colorado's up to 16. So that's what I said last week, though. I said Colorado. I mean, you still think they got a loss in them? Dude, where's the loss? Tell me where the loss is.
Dude,
This week,
Yeah, this week Kansas.
Kansas is playing spoiler,
Dude.
I don't know, dude.
playing much
I
better in
will
the second
say
half of the season.
They are playing a lot better. Like they're playing a lot like they were playing the last 2 years. And so I guess it was kind of just trying to figure out their offense because they lost their offensive coordinator. He went to Iowa.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Kansas State.
Yeah.
We took Kansas State's.
Yeah, Colin Klein. Yeah. But so he went to Iowa, which Iowa started scoring points, but then they started giving up more points too somehow.
Yeah.
So they started losing. But yeah, so I guess they kind of figured it out because I mean they still have like their big guys in the back, Devin Neal and Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised that they fell off so bad. But I mean it's still Kansas.
I mean, Colorado, man, that game was closer than the score indicates, too. They were just running it up at the end, for sure.
Yeah, dude, they ran the trick play
Yeah.
to get Travis Hunter a touchdown. Like
Yeah.
that's all it was. So.
For sure. And then, obviously, we go back to the Hail Mary against Baylor. Like, that, if that doesn't happen, like,
Dude, that honestly sparked everything though,
it did. I think so, too.
because like they've been a totally different team
been-
since that game.
They've been pretty good.
Yeah.
They're probably the favorite right now because BYU barely won last week. Now they lose this week. Like they're kind of falling. Iowa State fell off. Kansas State's falling off. Colorado's kind of sneaking up in there.
Yeah, man. Like,
Because they have a Big 12 championship game to play, too.
yeah.
Probably. Well, again,
We don't know.
We don't know,
Could
'cause
be Arizona State.
Arizona State plays BYU this week. I mean, that's the winner is in the driver's seat to make the Big 12 championship game. So
Yeah, because right now, it's BYU and Colorado tied 6-1, and then Arizona State and Iowa State are both 5-2.
And we went over Arizona State's 2 losses, Cincinnati and Tech.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Which Tech kind of fell off. They were playing really
Big
well
time,
too, and then
big
like
time.
all of a sudden now they're down to
TCU.
4-3. Yeah, dude, it was
Like, it's crazy.
absolutely
Yeah.
berserk. But and then Oklahoma State still sitting down there
I
0-7.
just
My Big 12 winner right there.
justifiable pick like
I mean-
preseason. Nobody. I mean, we talked about it too. I don't know if I've ever seen a year where 2 teams that were both picked to either win the Big 12 or go to the championship game in Oklahoma State and Utah both be 2 of the worst teams in the conference.
Yeah.
I know there was injuries to Cam Rising, but like I guess Lucas, you got to have a backup because he's been in college for 22 years. Like the guy, he's going to get hurt at some point, but.
Well, because I feel like the backup's been there for like 2 or 3 years too.
Probably. Oklahoma State probably isn't very good because the NCAA like boycotted their QR codes on their helmets.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They're probably like, we don't have enough money now. We can't play well because obviously you play for money.
Yeah, and Mike Gundy told him that he said, "Don't ask for money in the middle of the season.
That's right.
We're here to play football."
Speaking of money, how much money has Ollie Gordon lost?
a lot of money.
Dude, he's lost multiple millions.
He's not,
Tens
even,
of
he's not
millions.
even getting drafted anymore, and he would have been argued to be the first back off the board this year.
What, is he a junior this year?
I think so.
Because
yeah.
if he's not, if he's a senior and passed on the draft last year, man.
He had to have been a sophomore.
He
I
had-
mean,
He
he
had to
has-
have been a sophomore.
Yeah.
There's no way he
As a
didn't
running
come
back,
out.
you have to come
There's
out.
no way he didn't come out.
yeah, he's
for
a
season.
junior.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Because
definitely
his
come
first year,
back.
first season was 2022.
Gosh.
Does he come back or transfer?
I mean, you got to transfer,
Right? I mean,
you got to transfer and try to get your stock back up.
like you got to just wash your hands of this situation because
I could see him going to like an Oregon or Ohio State, somewhere around there, where
You have to.
because somebody'll pay up for him in college
For sure, and play behind a better offensive line. I'm sure that's a problem too.
Well, and then Alan Bowman, the quarterback, like he's like Brandon Whedon. He's like 27 years old or
Yeah.
something. Like,
Yeah, played the minor leagues for a few years. Didn't work out for baseball.
Exactly,
Let's go
yeah.
sign up for
Let's try the
a
football.
music degree at Oregon State.
they put up that graphic when Utah and Oklahoma State played, and it was like 6 and 7 years that both of them have been in college football.
this is
So
unbelievable, dude. Like,
Yeah.
just the amount of like red shirts that you can find through all that.
And
Like,
Rising's trying to come back next year for an 8th season.
is he? Like, did he already declare he is?
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to the draft. I mean, nobody's drafting him.
Might
so
as well
like,
just ride it out as long
yeah,
as you
dude.
can.
take a little NIL money, get your 5th degree from Utah.
Dude, he's
and,
gonna be an orthopedic surgeon by the end of it.
Dude, but for real, like what do you take at this point? Like, you just take like a little like speech class like through the semester, like.
Because Will was a collegiate athlete. He was a track runner at A&M Corpus, right?
Yeah.
And so he was saying you have to take at least 12 hours.
Well, that's what I figured. You had to be full time.
Yeah,
So
you have to, if he's getting his master's, you have to take 9. If you're still working on an undergrad, you have to take 12 hours every semester.
God, dude.
So like, yeah, they probably had to invent classes for him to take at Utah.
But I was saying that's what they did with Matt Leinart at USC. He took like ballroom dancing or something.
Well, that's what I was gonna
remember that
say,
was a
like-
big thing. Like whenever they were talking about like him like winning the Heisman and stuff. Like he was there for another year at USC taking like ballroom dancing.
Well, dude, that's like but even like the ones that aren't like, Ewers was on the Sunday Conversation. You ever seen that with Barstool?
Oh yeah,
And
hilarious.
Caleb Presley's like, "Can you tell me 5 classes that you're in right now?" And he's like, "Math." Like-
but I mean, a lot of those people though, especially the big time recruits and the big time players, like they take online only. Like they can't go to class because they just get mobbed.
well, you don't have time either. Like,
That is as well. But I mean, you gotta have time. You got to get some time in the classroom.
but if you think about it, like they probably have like a walkthrough, weight workout, something in the morning. They're
And in
probably
class.
watching film throughout the day.
you can't just watch film all day.
I mean, you can.
I mean, he's definitely not doing his homework.
No.
No, I mean,
I mean, but Texas's academic standards are way high. They're like the Ivy League of the South.
I understand that, but I mean, they are high, but it's like also,
I know, I'm kidding.
if you're a first round pick, it's like, hey, like,
Aerospace engineers, dude.
Yeah, he's got a great assistant. Probably has him a 4.0 GPA too.
dude, Johnny, who was a walk on there, he said he had like tutors,
Oh, absolutely.
like all the time that was like doing stuff for him.
For
and,
sure.
like,
No, absolutely.
well, not doing stuff for him,
And he's
but
like on
like
special
helping
teams.
him a lot. Yeah, he got to run the flag out against Notre Dame
Yeah.
whenever Texas was back. I remember that the Tyrone swoops.
Was that the first time they were back or like the 6th time?
That was
they
the
were back?
first
That
time.
was the first time.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when they beat Notre Dame in overtime, and they jumped from unranked to number 10 in the nation because they're like Texas is back, and then they end up going like 4-8 that year or something.
Yeah. Lost to Kansas. Is that the Kansas year?
one of them.
Yeah, it was one. I think it was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first of a few. So
But yeah. Another conference that's like, I mean, they might get one team in as the ACC.
yeah, because now we'll do. So Louisville got knocked off. That knocks them unranked.
Clemson won, but I mean,
barely beat Pitt.
Barely.
I mean, obviously Miami last week they had their first loss.
SMU, they tried to lose, and then they finally woke up in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
and ended up winning by 10 points.
Against a
But
bad Boston College team.
I feel like they're not
They're not
bad.
good.
I feel like they're not they're ACC decent. Like, I wouldn't say they're like a good team, but like they've been competitive throughout the year.
So they go
guess.
2-6 in the SEC.
Yeah,
I think just,
Probably yes.
but I mean, how many of those teams in the ACC would you say that like if SMU is in any other conference? I mean,
They probably wouldn't be. They'd be
Yeah.
middle of the pack.
yeah,
SEC.
they're not number 12 in the nation or
They'd
wherever
probably
they're going to be. Like,
LSU would find a way to lose to them for sure. But
yeah, I don't know, but
I think the ACC is down to a one bid conference.
yeah, I mean it's
I think
Miami.
The Big
I mean,
12
that's all
down
it
to
is.
one
Like,
bid conference. I think.
but if Miami,
I don't know if it's Miami. Like
at this point, it might be SMU.
you take Cam Ward out of Miami, they are a very they're they're an average football team.
Oh,
Because
100%.
SMU,
Average at
SMU's
best.
the only team that's undefeated in conference.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, they're in the driver's seat, and I'm pretty sure their strength of schedule, like their last 2 games, isn't that crazy.
so was like none of this expected because how did they figure out the schedule makers figure out a way for none of these teams to play each other? Like, do they just not think SMU was going to be good or something? Like,
I
how
mean,
did
that's why I had Syracuse as my dark horse because their schedule was god awful.
yeah.
Well, that's why I picked SMU to be mine.
Yeah.
Because their schedule wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And then also like they had a high powered offense from last year, so I mean it was kind of just to see how it was going to translate.
And they dumped a ton of money. They raised a ton of money to build up the roster in the portal.
Yeah.
I think they raised like 114 million in like a
Yeah.
week.
Well, I don't know if that was for the portal, but they definitely
Well, to the NIL collective.
yeah, like it brought it in.
And,
yeah.
and I think they went into the portal pretty
Well, dude,
heavy.
I mean they're a private institution, so I mean like all those boosters are just pumping money as soon as they join the ACC.
But not
like,
just a private institution, because like Baylor's a private institution too. But like SMU is like they're on the same scale as like an A&M in Texas with their like alumni base and their like
well, yeah, but
their
they're
alumni bases are like crazy rich. Like you know how much it costs to go to freaking SMU per year? It's like $68,000 a year to
well,
go.
yeah,
to
but that's
SMU.
also like they're in a more prominent area too. Like
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
like they're in the
Downtown
Fort Worth
Dallas.
area or Dallas area, yeah.
Yeah.
And whereas Baylor's in Waco. Like,
Well, yeah, but like USC, they're a private school. Miami's a private school. Like and
is it really?
oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, they're both private universities,
Yeah.
but they don't have near the alumni and the money that SMU has. SMU has crazy money.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people in the alumni are pissed off that the NCAA like made them as a scapegoat and gave them the death penalty and like because their program before that happened was on the up.
They're
They were-
dominant.
Good.
They were very
Yeah.
good.
Good.
And I think they're like, now we're back. Like we're gonna
Yeah,
go
finally.
we're gonna show everybody like we have the money and we're gonna compete. And with the NIL and with the transfer portal, that's possible for a team like SMU to pop
Playing
like that.
field is not leveled, but it's the gap has definitely gotten a lot closer.
But if schools have the motivation and the resources to be good, they can be good.
Oh,
which is
for
awesome.
sure, yeah.
And so if Texas State like there's a lot of alumni from Texas State. Like, Texas State has a huge like alumni like population. If the alumni association came together and was like, "Hey, we need donations. We're gonna make this thing good." Like they could theoretically be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
If they got the backing.
Well, especially to like compete in the Sun Belt.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
like that's
But I'm talking at like on like a national scale too, like making that playoff, making that 12 spot. But again, it comes down to motivation between the people donating and stuff. Like if the school wants to be good, I don't think Texas State ever will because a lot of the kids and alumni that go to Texas State, they're Texas fans or A&M fans. Like they're the big state school fans, so they're like, I'm not going to donate.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like not a community college type of feel, but it's kind of like just like the neighboring school.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah,
like we're
it's like UL Lafayette in Louisiana.
yeah,
Like
they're all LSU fans
for sure.
Yeah,
And so they're not gonna pump a ton of money into UL athletics.
Yeah.
Because sure they care. I care about Texas State. I want them to do well, but I'm not giving them my money to get a recruit to come to campus. I'm just
yeah.
not.
But even still, at least Louisiana year over year is competitive in everything they do.
yeah. But it's also like a hotbed for like recruits too, and they're not They're only competing with LSU.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it kind of goes back to your argument of what you were saying, how like LSU is really the only like major university in Louisiana, so
Yeah.
you're gonna get all the top athletes. So then all your second tier guys, like they're going to Louisiana.
Yeah, but those are like diamonds in the rough. Like it's crazy. Like the 3 stars at LSU are like they pop. Like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's somebody that just popped. You know, like got a little bit of like bigger, stronger, had some guidance and popped off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah. I don't know, but I always hope that Texas State eventually will figure it out. But
I mean, they could.
they could. Now, will they? I don't know. Especially after this year, which we've talked about. But it's like kind of like everything looks great, and then it doesn't.
What I think Texas State's going to happen is LSU is going to do the Oklahoma thing. Nussmeier's going to transfer to Texas State, lead them to the 12th seed, and then Bryce Underwood's going to start for LSU next year.
There you go.
Like
Is that the plan?
Like the Arnold and Dylan Gabriel thing. And LSU's going to.
It's working out great for Oklahoma.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's going to work out really good for LSU. But the one thing I will say though is like DJ Lagway looked really good against Florida. Like
He
some of these
did.
freshman quarterbacks, like Rayola's a red shirt, but he looks good. He looks pretty decent. Like
Yeah.
as a first time starter, he looks good.
Amaleva over at Tennessee,
Imaliava.
or whatever
I
you want
won't
to
even
say.
attempt it. I don't.
Imaliava, I think is how you pronounce it. But he was hanging in there with Georgia for sure
Yeah.
in a tough environment. I mean, I guess people argue with Arch. I mean, the 3 games that he played, he didn't do too bad.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. So
And so the recipe can be there for these freshman kids. His name just can't be Jackson Arnold, I guess.
yeah. So is there any chance that Ewers comes back next year?
There is.
No.
There is.
There's a chance he comes back. He's not coming back to Texas.
No, there's no way he comes back.
Texas is not. Texas is moving on to Arch.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You can't.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's put it this way. Texas has to pick. They're either picking Ewers if he comes back or Arch, but one of the two is leaving.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're not doing
Because
this again.
Mel Kiper just came out with his top position players, and I think Arch was the 5th best quarterback in the draft,
Yeah.
which is probably about right. Which actually,
This is
I
not
disagree.
This is not a good quarterback.
I actually
draft class.
disagree. He has Milrow at number
No.
3, which I totally disagree.
Does he have Gabriel number 1?
No,
No.
it's Sanders.
With. Yeah.
Oh, Shadur,
Shadur's
yeah.
number
Yeah,
1.
Shadur's number 1.
Nussmeier's number 4.
Is he a senior?
He's only a junior.
Junior?
Yeah.
So do you think
Please
he
tell me
comes back?
Beck wasn't on there.
I don't remember. I think Carson Beck was on there.
Jeez.
At one point, he was like number 3. I'm sure he's fallen
Oh,
since then.
Milrow's 3 right
Preseason,
Yeah.
they had Beck as the number 1 pick to the Giants. Like
Oh, wow.
Carson Beck was going to be the guy this year.
Man, that would be awesome. I would love
Yeah.
that.
Go from Daniel Jones to Carson Beck.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if NFL teams are going to be itching to move up to. Draft
Dude, they talked about
quarterback this
Cleveland taking Shadur Sanders. That
year. Yeah.
I feel like that would be up there with like when they drafted Johnny Manziel. Like it'd be
See,
like the
but
same kind of hype.
The problem is, though, there's so many NFL teams that need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So someone's going to do it, and they're going to overpay. I mean, and it might work out.
I don't-
Like last year, the Broncos overpaid for Bo Nix, quietly having not a bad year. in
Yeah, he
Denver.
started
So-
off rough, but he's been playing
Yeah,
a lot
I mean,
better
So
lately.
I think like when you see that situation, teams might overpay to take a chance.
Well,
Yeah.
look at like Carolina right now. Like Carolina, like they're a bad football team, and
Bad
so
organization.
well, I
bad
kind of said
owner.
it too, but it's like they don't like right now. They have so many needs that they don't need to draft a quarterback right now. I feel like you kind of build everything else up and then you bring a quarterback in. But I could also see them kind of like we said, it's bad owner. Like they go out and reach and draft like a Shadur Sanders or a Dylan Gabriel or
Man, but Shadur, like, yes, and I don't want to like hype up Colorado because I'm not high on Colorado. I just don't like them. But I think Shadur might be a good quarterback, man. Like low key.
Yeah.
Like, look at what he did last year. Like,
well, last year he had no offensive line.
that's what I'm saying. But he still put up numbers.
Yeah.
He still put up numbers with absolutely no protection whatsoever.
Yeah.
This year he has some protection. Still not great protection.
Right.
And they're in the playoff picture. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, he like put him behind a decent offensive line. Who knows what can happen? I mean, it could be a possibility.
God, dude. I keep hearing the picture of him going to Dallas and then Deion Sanders getting brought in as the coach. Like, I think that might actually be the end of me as a Cowboys fan if that happens.
Dude, that would be the biggest Jerry Jones move I've ever seen.
And that's why, honestly, I remember it was 2014 when Manziel got drafted. I remember you were there with me. Remember, it was the draft night. We were at we were in our apartment.
Dude, I've had
and-
so many beers since then.
So, but dude, I remember sitting in the room and I remember it came up. It was number 16 pick. And they were like, Johnny Manziel's right there. Jerry Jones been hyped on Johnny Manziel. Dude, I remember pacing up and down the apartment like, they're going to take him. They're going to take him. I was so mad, dude.
Who they end up taking?
They took Zach Martin, which ended up
Oh,
being
great pick.
insanely good pick.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I was like, they're going to take him. They're going to take him. And then he ended up going to Cleveland instead.
Yeah.
And so, but that it's
was
kind of,
actually
I feel like it's going to be the same kind of thing. But now, dude, the Cowboys are going to be a top 5 pick most likely. So now I'm hoping, I'm telling you right now, dude, if the Cowboys, I want them to lose every single game this year and take Travis Hunter. Like I'm telling you right now, I would take
think-
Travis Hunter right
I think
now.
you got to go O-line. I think you
Yeah,
got to
but-
go O-line.
That I would either.
Because Zach Martin may not come back. Speaking of Zach Martin, he might retire.
Yeah, I mean that is true. Like I don't disagree with that. So but I would either take.
Is he that old? I mean,
He's
it's only been
33.
10 years. Is he planning on retiring?
He's 33, 34. His contract's up.
Yeah.
I don't think the Cowboy. I think if anything, he'll ask for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Cowboys will pony up. And so if anything, he'll go somewhere else. It's kind of like what they do with Tyron Smith. Like he didn't want to retire, and the Cowboys were like, "Look, dude, like we can't pay you that much because." But also, Tyron Smith was always hurt, and so
Still is.
Yeah, and so he still is, and so like they didn't want to pay him up. Whereas Zach Martin, like he hasn't been injury prone, but he's been having like a few injuries over the past couple of years. So I could see them saying like, "Look, if you want to keep playing it, it's not going to be here."
Yeah.
So, but I would take either Travis Hunter or if you do go a line, I would take like a Kelvin Banks.
Kelvin Banks.
Like
yeah.
that would be my next best option. I would.
If you're taking Travis Hunter, is it for receiver or is it corner? Like in your mindset for the Cowboys?
I
Or
mean,
is he Otaniing it?
Yeah. Or is he just going to do all of it?
I mean, if he can do both, I would love
Possibly
both,
also
but-
play quarterback.
Yeah, he might have to, dude. But honestly, like I mean, I think right now it'd be receiver just because they have Trayvon Diggs on one side, they've got Deron Bland, and they have a rookie that he's actually having a pretty good year this year too. So I think they're okay at secondary right now, unless he can play like a safety position. But
I mean, I think he could play pretty much anywhere on the field.
yeah,
to be
and that's what I
honest.
mean. Like, and so I mean, you could even probably do like a hybrid. I wouldn't play him
Put him
as
as nose guard. The way he's playing, dude. I mean, seriously, he does it all, man.
yeah, but I don't think it's something where you want to play him like 80 snaps a game or whatever
No.
he's doing right
Absolutely
now.
not.
Not in the NFL.
But it could
No.
be play him at a receiver and then like you kind of spot play him around the secondary as well in certain packages.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take that, but also I feel like Kelvin Banks I feel like would be a pretty good lock because like the right tackle right now he's struggling, Terrence Steele, so you throw him at the right tackle because they have Guyton that they just drafted out of Oklahoma at the left tackle. So that's the thing, dudes. Their offensive line's so young. Like their left tackle's a rookie, left guard's second year, center's a rookie. And you have Zach Martin that's a vet, and then the right tackle Terrence Steele, and he's a vet, but dude, last year he was the best right tackle in the league, and now he's like one of the worst.
Yeah.
He fell off quick. So you put a Kelvin Banks in there, you're going to be super young, but you also have pretty good pieces there. So
Yeah, to protect Dak for the next 5 years.
yeah, dude,
That's the problem,
yeah.
man. You're stuck. You're stuck for
$240
3 more
million.
years.
Because nobody's taking that contract.
Are you a
Let's-
Cowboys fan?
No.
Okay, because
No.
like my brother put it in the perfect perspective, and like I'm starting to believe it more and more. Is like he's Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He got his payday, and then he realizes that Jerry's gonna love me no matter what. So who cares?
Yeah.
Like, dude, like you just watch the way he plays. Like the past several years, it's been like I'm playing for that next big contract, and then he got it, and it's like I'm good. Wipe my hands, like
Yeah. I mean, it does seem that way for sure.
yeah.
But
And then you got freaking Zeke. Zeke needs to be cut immediately, dude. He's so bad.
they play tomorrow. I was like, how'd they do today?
They're
Yeah.
playing my team, the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle of Texas.
Yeah, dude. If they're playing in Houston, I probably actually would have tried to go to that game just to go watch it. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to Harlow.
It's not going to be good football. The Texans don't look good right now. The Cowboys haven't looked good for a while.
They are struggling, dude. What's going on with the Texans right
The
now?
offense, I don't know what happened, but I mean, Nico Collins got hurt, and the
Yeah.
offense forgot how to play football,
Yeah,
which is
just
crazy
wild.
because we have probably arguably the best receiving corps. You mix in Mixon, you had Collins, you had Diggs, you had Tank Dell. I mean, John Mechie, when they drafted him, they thought he was going to be important. He couldn't even find targets, get on the field.
Isn't he the one that had cancer when he came out or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
But and then you had Dalton Schultz. Like this offense was set up to be very, very good.
Absolutely, dude.
And then we can't throw the ball. I mean,
Is it Stroud?
he's definitely having that sophomore slump.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last time. Teams had an entire year of film. I
Yep.
mean, it makes a difference. But I don't know. I mean, Slowick, the offense, it just doesn't have the same pop. But Collins is back tomorrow. He's still top 10 in receiving yards, and he's missed 5 games.
That's crazy,
That
dude.
is
Like,
nuts.
Yeah, like he was at 500 something through 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
How are they doing in the division?
they're in first.
They are in the worst division in football.
Yes.
So at
Yeah.
6-4, they still are up because the Colts somehow beat the Jets again yesterday. So now they're a game behind the Texans. But if the Texans win, we still have a 2-game lead in the division,
Yeah.
and just just a terrible division.
Dude, the Colts.
I think the NFC South might be worse, but
It's a good
I don't
competition.
think it is, man.
The South
Jags
divisions are definitely
terrible.
back and forth.
The Titans are terrible. The Colts 2 weeks ago literally benched their franchise quarterback to go with 39-year-old Joe Flacco because he gave them the best chance to win right now. Because they still think they can win this division. It's that bad.
But the Panthers are probably the worst team in football, and then the Saints lost to them.
You say that, but they beat the Giants last week. So
Yeah, I would have argued that, but then the Falcons got trounced today by.
Well, the Saints beat the Falcons last week.
it was
Who
by
was it? It was someone that's not very good.
who was it? Because I was following that game.
The Bucks might be the best team in the division.
But then they lose
Yeah.
games they shouldn't lose.
Well,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
The Bucks have the
the
most.
Broncos 38-6. The Broncos
Oh,
beat the
yeah,
Falcons.
dude.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
speaking of Bo Nix, dude, he went off today.
I'm telling you, man. He's. I mean, Jaden Daniels is rookie of the year, but Bo Nix is quietly having the second best rookie season out
Yeah,
there.
it's
this
honestly
year.
just because he started so slow.
Yeah,
Because he had an outstanding preseason. Because remember we talked about it. It was one of our first episodes. We talked about how he could be one of the top ones, and then like his first couple games, like I don't even think he threw for 100 yards. Like it was so bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So, yeah, man. But yeah, the NFL is it's like in a weird position right now, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's just because it's taken a back seat. Like
Yeah.
college football is so interesting this year with the 12-team playoff and
Yes.
everything that's going on that no one's really worried about the NFL because it doesn't matter until the playoff starts. Like,
Yeah.
Or the last 2 weeks maybe if there's a couple tight races.
And
But
that's what I was getting at with the division. Like the Texans just have to play good football when it matters. Like if they win the
Yeah.
division, it doesn't matter.
No,
You're in. Like they can be playing their best ball come December, and they're
that's all
right.
that matters.
especially in a division like that, if you go 6-0 in the division, you just
You're
win.
going to the playoffs.
Yeah, you win 2 other games outside the division. You're going in at 8-9.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Like
And we would literally might. I mean, our best win. We did beat the Bills, but we found a way to lose to the Lions after Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions.
yeah, dude, that was
We
bad.
found a way to lose
Yeah,
that game.
I did see that. That's insane.
Oh God, don't get me. Yeah, it was bad. But we scored no points in the second half. I mean, just absolutely disappeared.
Yeah, that game was weird. You know, like it's crazy how you do that. But then, dude,
That's like LSU level meltdown.
It was bad. No, I mean 5 picks.
Yeah, you can't. That's
You put up
unheard of.
23 points in the first half and pick off Goff 4 times, and then you lose the game.
Yeah.
At home.
That's what LSU does.
it's like the ghost of the Houston Oilers coming back to haunt you, dude. Like,
It's Deshaun Watson. He has time right now to like come back and sabotage the Texans.
yeah,
Even though we gifted him $240 million. Jesus.
well now the Browns get it, so at least you don't have to worry about.
It would happen to the Browns, man. Just
Dude, that's
perpetually bad luck. They we're done with Baker. Get rid of him. He goes and becomes an actually quality quarterback down for Tampa. I mean, yeah.
They got famous Jameis in there now. They actually just lost to the Saints today.
I know.
It's so bad.
His
dude.
first game, Jameis actually played really well, and then he morphed right back into Jameis Winston these last 2 weeks.
Throwing picks.
I actually did he play that bad today? I felt like he actually played decent today. Like
I don't know. I didn't.
he threw for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns today.
How many picks?
None.
Oh wow, that's
400 yards.
And they lost 35-14.
He threw for 400 yards and they only scored 14 points.
Dude, that's again LSU's level of incompetency.
Dude, Jerry
They gave up
Jeudy had
20
140 yards.
They gave the Saints scored 21 points in the fourth quarter
Dude,
alone.
Taysom
It was
Hill.
tied.
Taysom Hill, dude.
Swiss Army knife, man.
Well, dude, it was 28-14 and like the with like 3 minutes left, and Taysom Hill ran for like an 80-yard touchdown
75
to
yards,
put
yeah.
it away. So
He's got to be getting old, right? Because he was also in college for like 7 years.
But
No,
he was the
wasn't
one.
in college for a long. I don't think he was in college that long. I just think he was like 30 when he graduated because he went to BYU.
He was at
He had
BYU.
to do his mission trip.
Yeah,
and
that's
Because
right.
he was the
everything.
one that like back-to-back years ran for like
Texas.
250 yards against Texas.
Yeah, he
Like,
went
it was,
off
like,
against Texas, home and away.
both times. Yeah,
I remember that.
7
Wild, dude.
carries for $138 today.
Yeah, that's crazy. 3 touchdowns, I think.
Taysom Hill was 34.
Yeah, I think he had 3 touchdowns.
His
too.
over/under in rushing was like 24.5 on Price Picks today.
God, that would have been a good one to do in like a fantasy,
Yeah.
or like the daily fantasy thing, like on DraftKings.
Yeah,
Because I
dude.
doubt many people had him.
Oh no, dude.
God.
Well, because he's like a fullback now for them. Like
Dude, no,
it's
he's
weird.
like a wildcat.
Yeah.
That's what
like a wildcat.
Well, but that's what they did before. But then like they
Yeah.
turned him like almost into like he like almost just like goes in to play running
Yeah.
back now. Like they'll put him in with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, they did at least whenever like Spencer Rattler was the quarterback.
I mean, he was doing that whenever Breeze was there.
Yeah, but I thought he would just come in like packages, like to
Yeah,
run,
he'd
like,
have packages, like Wildcat packages, and Breeze would like flex out and, like a wide receiver.
just stand there.
Yeah.
They would play with 10 people then. 'Cause
Pretty much.
Drew wasn't doing anything
Yeah.
on the outside.
I think teams stopped doing that. Stopped putting the quarterback out wide. Who was it? Was it like
Got blown up.
Yeah, somebody like they were like I think it was Jay Cutler. He was just like standing out there in the corner, just like went and just like mauled him. Like,
Yeah.
so I think teams stopped putting their quarterback out wide.
Yeah.
Just gonna get some water real fast, but yeah, man. So, but yeah, you're right though. I mean, it feels like the NFL kind of has really taken a backseat. But I mean, but like you said, the college football has been wild this year, dude. Like,
Dude, it's been awesome. Like, as much as I freaking hate, I almost said something. As much as I hate it, it's been great. Even though LSU sucks, like
Yeah.
it's been fun to watch for sure. And I think, I mean, I still don't think it overtakes the NFL like nationally as like the major sport to watch, but I think there's definitely more followers. Like people are starting to like pick
I
up
think
on
it might. I really think it might. I mean, I don't know.
may.
Like, there's just nothing for the NFL. Like, I didn't even try to look to turn on a single game today.
Yeah, but we also live in the South where college football is like
Is the
big.
biggest
You
thing.
go to freaking Buffalo, New York, they don't give a crap about Syracuse
Yeah.
football. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
and that's especially like East Coast, West Coast, like they don't really care about college
Well, it's
football.
kinda
And
like-
that's where the media is. That's where all the like the majority of the population is on the borders of the country.
But
you know?
even like the West Coast, dude, it's like almost like they don't care about anything. Because like, remember we were talking about
they care
it was
about
like-
football.
But
like,
dude, but remember when the Rams won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
and it was like they like showed their parade, and it was lame, dude.
yeah,
Like,
I
it was
guess
like,
I guess I'm thinking more of like, but I mean, you have the 49ers, they care. Like, you know, you
well,
have
and maybe
the
it's more
Seahawks,
like who they care about.
Yeah.
Like, because it's kind of like the Rams are. I guess you could call them new
Yeah.
because like they were there before, then they went to St. Louis. Now they're kind of back, but yeah, but like I think San Francisco's kind of like your big
Yeah,
team. Like,
and then up in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, the Seahawks fans are pretty.
oh yeah, they're huge Seattle
yeah,
fans up there for
like
sure.
very very passionate.
Yeah.
And I mean, then you go to the East Coast. I mean, Buffalo. You have the Giants. You have the Jets. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like all them. The Eagles. They're crazy
dude.
about it. Like
Big win today in Pittsburgh. They
yeah,
didn't
so-
score a single touchdown.
Yeah.
6 field goals.
Yep,
Yeah.
Chris
got,
Boswell
got the
dude,
dub.
got the dub again. I mean, that's the second game they've won this year where they only kicked field goals.
That's wild, dude.
It's pretty impressive.
I will
And they
say
beat
though,
the Ravens too, which is
Yeah, it's the Ravens.
I will say though that Russell Wilson's playing a lot better this year than he was last year. It's kind of weird. Like it's almost like Sean Payton just like had it out for him from the beginning, and so like he just kind of like
it wasn't his guy.
Yeah,
he,
like-
he didn't get to choose him. Like I feel like
it's just weird, dude. Like
Yeah.
Sean Payton's I don't know. He's an interesting guy, but I don't know. I feel like because now like with Bo Nix, it's like they have like a totally different team, totally different offense. Like
apparently Sean Payton's offense is extremely hard to run for a rookie quarterback, which is why they're saying like he struggled up front, but now it's clicking, and now it's actually clicking. So he's starting to look a lot better with more experience in it.
Could be. Drew Brees ran the show for a long time under him. So
well, I was gonna say, yeah, he had one quarterback for how many years? Like it was
Forever.
just like this is easy.
his
Like
entire head coaching career.
I have one of the best quarterbacks ever playing for me. So
I think that's what he wanted. Like he wanted to bring in a quarterback and morph him into who he wanted him to be. And
Yeah.
like with Russell's already Russell. Like he can't change him or make him do the things he wants him to do. So it was like, just get out of here.
which is weird though, because I feel like Russell Wilson, like obviously like not stats wise or like accomplishments, but I feel like just as far as like his abilities, I feel like is not that far off from what Drew Brees was doing.
No, I agree.
Because I thought it was actually going to be a pretty good fit. Because I thought
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, I was like, man, it's kind of the same kind of guy. Like I feel like and he has more running ability, so I figured like you would have more of an offense to be able to run, but I guess not.
Pete Carroll got him. Pete Carroll got him.
Well, that's. I mean, I will say like Pete Carroll. I guess he's a pretty good coach, dude. Because I mean, they were doing.
Yeah,
he was,
very
he
well.
was rolling in Seattle for a while. So
Yeah, but
are you tired of talking about the NFL, dude? Like,
I mean, I'd rather college football is better,
Yeah.
just overall. But SEC anything happened other than LSU losing? Georgia.
Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia. That was
the biggest game of the week.
That was a good game
on paper.
at the beginning.
It was close up until what was it, the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then Georgia ended up hanging on. Because what was the score? Was it 17-10 at half or 17-17?
I think it was tied.
Because I don't think Tennessee scored in the second half.
No.
Yeah.
So I think it was 17-17. Then I
17
think
up.
Georgia scored 7 in the third, 7 in the fourth. So,
Yeah.
but
They ran away with it 34-17, I think was the final.
31-17.
Yeah.
17, yeah.
Yes, I mean they hung around. So I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from Tennessee, just because, like we said, like they did have a freshman quarterback, and their strength of schedule hasn't been like that great.
To Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean the best team that they played is Alabama up to that point. So
Yeah, they beat them,
I mean they beat them, and so but then it's also a home game, so you kind of take it for what it is. But
and I mentioned it last week too, which is why I picked Georgia to win that game in our pick'em. Like it was a home game for Georgia. Like they're a different team at home. Like you don't know which Georgia you're going to get on the road. We saw that against Kentucky. I mean, we saw that against Alabama. They got down.
But still,
super
dude,
early.
Like there were some throws that like Carson Beck was making where I'm like, God, like this dude is average. Like,
Yeah, it's been like that all
Yeah,
season. I mean, the only reason they won at Texas is because Texas gave them a short field.
Yeah.
Three
For
times.
sure. Yeah.
The offense, Georgia's offense didn't look great there either.
No.
And they didn't have Etienne.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yeah, he was out, and so it's like, where are you going to go?
Yeah. For
And
sure.
I mean, they ended up making the plays when they needed to beat Tennessee, but again, on the road, I just don't think they're a very good team on the road.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like if it's at Tennessee, that's a totally different ball.
I
game
think so
for
too.
Sure, so
I think Tennessee wins that game if it's in Tennessee.
Yeah. Because they're a good team at home and they're tough. So I don't know, but that was a good one. Then Texas struggled against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Kind of kept them in the game the entire time. Finally scored kind of like midway through the fourth quarter to kind of hold them off 20-10. But it was
I mean, dude, I was watching that game. I had to work this weekend, but I was watching that game, and like it honestly felt like Arkansas had the momentum and we're gonna go up.
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
And then, I mean, Ewers like crafted a drive. There was a lot of good runs in there too, but went up to score to make it 20.
well, yeah,
But dude, that drive was huge because if they don't score on that drive, that's a different game, man. Like it's.
Well, yeah, because honestly, like I mean, Texas had opportunities to blow them out.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it was the same. It was the same kind of deal as like against Georgia. It was like defense would hold, offense would crap out. Defense would hold, offense would crap out.
Yeah.
Like it was like just a back and forth. Like
And-
Ewers didn't throw any picks, but it was still like it was just there was nothing generating.
I mean, and I know LSU's offensive line was absolutely ass, but dude, I feel like Texas sacked Arkansas's quarterback. Yeah, Green like 20 times. Like they were in his face the whole game.
Oh, yeah, for
like
sure.
they could not block Texas at all.
No, and that's where. But then, like you said, then the momentum shifted, and that's when Arkansas started moving the ball, started hanging in there. They just really couldn't convert, and so that's how they were able to hold them off. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they got Kentucky at home this week, and then obviously going to Aggie next week. So
Yeah.
a couple of big games coming up to kind of determine where you go from here. So because I mean, I feel like Kentucky's at a point. If you had told me earlier in the season, I would have said this would probably be kind of like a watch
ahead.
out game. But I mean, I feel like Kentucky's kind of fallen off to where
Yeah,
I think they'll be okay. So
Yeah, they're not very good.
I still wonder what could have been if Texas A&M had hired Mark Stoops.
I don't even want to think about
No,
that.
but you should at least a little bit. Like Mark Stoops has made Kentucky at least over the
Relevant?
past few years relevant in football. That's never been ever a football school. That's a basketball school.
Oh, for sure.
Through and through. Like Kentucky football is irrelevant, and they've made that sport at least. He's made that sport at least a little relevant there.
Yeah, definitely.
and that says something.
So then our backup was to hire a coach from a different basketball school.
Yeah, that's exactly
We
right.
just went to Duke instead of Kentucky.
But it's at least a guy who you knew he was. You
That's
knew what he was
exactly
about.
why.
So I mean,
That's why they
exactly
hired
why
him.
they hired him, because he was familiar.
Because it's
They
not
weren't
like,
gonna have to pay him $12 million like they would have had to any other big name guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already paying $10 million a year for someone to not coach our football team. So
I mean, you already wrote it off. I mean, didn't the boosters like present that check at
Wasn't
that
just a
halftime
check?
or something?
So they right after they fired him, like the next home game, the 12th Man Foundation presented a check for like $100-something million. That's just like a big old screw you. Like everybody's talking about how are they going to pay this buyout, and we got the money together.
Yep.
Plus
good.
some
Yeah.
within a week. Yeah, that was some oil field money flex from A&M that day.
Oh, for sure, dude. But I don't know. So it is funny though, because I still remember whenever his name first came up, and it was like he's about to become the head coach, and then dude, like people went absolutely.
No, he was the
ballistic.
head coach. He was
Yeah.
hired without the ink wasn't dry yet, and then
Yeah.
the boosters got word and were like, no, he's not.
Like,
But, dude,
absolutely not.
I don't think that would have been that bad of a hire. I don't.
I mean,
What
I
he
don't
did
know.
at Kentucky, how he's turned that program to what it is, and they've been relevant the last few years. They beat Florida for the first time in pretty much ever. Like they've made some pretty decent headway as a basketball school.
I get what you're saying. I just think they were worried that the ceiling was like probably like 9-3 with Stoops as our coach. Like they were worried that we weren't gonna be. You couldn't go 11-1.
What's the ceiling with Elko? We don't know that either.
But that's the deal, though. Like there's more intrigue there because like Stoops has been a coach a long time, and yeah, he's at a basketball school,
Not near the resources
Not
he would
at
get
all.
at A&M.
but I think they were just worried that the ceiling may not be as high.
But I just don't know if we don't know the ceiling with Elko either.
We
though. That's
don't.
the thing.
We
Because
don't.
although he did pretty good at Duke, I mean Duke's still winning now. I mean they have a pretty decent record in the ACC. It's not like they're bottom of the ACC right now with Elko gone.
Well, yeah, but you still got Elko's guys.
I mean, not at quarterback. They
You
brought
got
in
Texas guy now.
You know,
Yeah.
like they
Miles
brought in people.
Malik is the truth, dude. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
If you ask some guys, they think that Malik was better than Arch at one point. So
yeah.
He was on the depth chart, right? He was the backup. So
that is true.
I guess Sark thought that last year.
I mean, he didn't lose a game last year, so I mean,
It's true. But no, I mean, I just don't think there's that big of I don't think the ceiling is that much higher for Elko compared to what it would have been with Stoops, to be honest. Because I mean, again, Stoops has a track record of, I mean, he's done well.
So do you think that this year is just kind of like an overperformance based on like who he came in? So like he had a lot of the roster that Jimbo Fisher, Elko.
Oh no, they got decimated by the portal. They lost like 30 scholarship
He had to bring in a ton of guys.
He brought in a ton of guys.
But that's what I'm saying though. So like, what do you like? How do you think he had so much success coming into year one?
Who?
We haven't played
Oh,
anybody.
Yeah, the schedule.
Yeah, but there's been other years where they haven't really played anybody and they've still
Yeah.
flopped.
I mean,
against,
Where?
It's just a different feel. I mean, I think he's trying to change the whole, well, losing words here, but culture. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. Is culture. It's just a culture change. He's bringing in a lot more toughness. We weren't tough under Jimbo at all.
no.
So I think a lot of just like that. But he brought in some guys, and but yeah, I mean, if we have to play a different schedule,
Like
we're probably 6-4.
Yeah,
We're
if
not
you played
8-2.
last year's schedule, honestly.
If we
Yeah.
played the schedule we're playing next year, where we have to go on the road to some games, like
Yeah.
I mean, I would if we had to flip the game against LSU and play Death Valley, probably don't win that one at night. I mean,
And that's A&M's best win, and that doesn't look very good now.
so I mean,
Yeah, because Missouri was the best win. Now look at Missouri, and then
Yeah.
LSU was the best win. Now look at LSU. Like,
For sure. Their best win is a loss to Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame.
yeah,
That's our best.
which actually doesn't look bad now because Notre Dame's been playing really well lately. So
If you lose to Northern Illinois, you can't have a seat at the table. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
well, they're going to. I'm telling
They
you,
are going to have a seat at the table,
Don't
but
worry.
they're not going to
Don't
do
worry.
anything.
Army's gonna take care of them this week. And then-
Hopefully. Yeah, that'd be
it
great.
ain't happening.
No, that's not
No, it's
happening.
not happening. But,
But
in the world, it's
Who would have thought that Northern Illinois would have won?
True.
Yeah,
You got to think about that too. Like, no, who had that in their cards?
That was also September. I mean,
True.
and that stuff happens early season. Not, I mean,
It happens early season because that's when the cupcakes are scheduled.
scheduled. Yeah, that's true.
There's
except for
no-
the SEC. The
there's
SEC
no
plays
situ-
their cupcakes late. So
Some do.
Yeah.
Not all.
I mean, like half of them.
Yeah, half of them. Like LSU got theirs out of the way.
Yeah, Texas got theirs all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bama just played Mercer.
Mercer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
A&M playing New Mexico State.
Yeah,
I
just
think Tennessee has a walk this week too. I mean,
like Charleston Southern or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
South Carolina's already finished their SEC slate.
Yeah,
because they play
end with
Clemson,
yeah.
and then they probably play a cupcake this week.
Yeah,
Then
some bums.
it's like
But no,
Wofford.
yeah, it probably is.
No, it actually is. I just
oh my
No,
goodness.
but Texas A&M, like their schedule. I mean, like again, if it was still East and West, you'd have to play Alabama. You'd have to play Ole Miss. Like those are two other games that make things a lot more difficult in the schedule. Probably still play Texas because they're going to bring that rivalry back once Texas got in.
Yeah.
So you're playing 3 more games that are difficult.
I agree. I mean, that's from an A&M fan. Like the schedule has been in our favor, but I could go up and down a lot of the teams in the top 12 right now and make that exact same argument. Like, there's people there that they are only there because they really haven't played anybody. And I say that, but has nobody played anybody, or is just the parity just better? So
I think parity's there for sure, but I mean,
like even in the SEC, like is the SEC more average, or is the SEC is just that much better?
More spread out, talent more spread. I think is what it is. I think the talent's more spread out now. Honestly,
Yeah, because I mean, if everybody just keeps beating each other, and that's where you kind of look at it too. It's like even when you're playing an average team, you don't play great. It's like at any given moment. I mean, it's kind of like a team might not win, but like you're gonna get their best game.
because let's just like think about it this way: like South Carolina. Let's put South Carolina in there.
Yeah.
I think they have 2. Was it 2 losses in conference?
3.
Or 3. They have 3 losses in conference.
Yeah, all 3 of their losses are in conference.
If you plug South Carolina in the ACC, where are they finishing?
They're probably right there with SMU right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like in all seriousness.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you plug South Carolina in the Big Ten, where are they at?
Probably around Indiana. I mean, they're not as good as the top 3, but
Are they not? I think they could possibly hang with Penn State.
I mean,
Penn State hasn't played anybody.
The only game they've played is Ohio State. Indiana's
Agreed.
only game is going to be Ohio State. Now, Ohio State has played everybody.
Yeah, Oregon. I mean, they
Their
were in
only
a barn
game is
burner with
Ohio State.
They were the barn burner with Boise State early in the year.
Yeah.
And then against Wisconsin this year.
They had another one too that was close. I don't remember who they played, but they played some close games.
Well, they almost lost Wisconsin just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and so I mean, South Carolina, they probably have the same record in the Big Ten, and they're the 6th best team in the conference,
yeah.
right in the middle of the pack.
And I think that's the argument. Like people are going to be whining at the end of the year whenever there's 3, 4, 2-loss teams from the SEC in the playoff. But if your goal is to really put the 12 best teams, you can't make the argument that it's not a higher quality.
Yeah, I still think the SEC gets 4 in.
I think they get 4.
I don't think they go 5. There's no chance.
I'm trying to think of a scenario where 5 gets in, but it would require some teams. It'd require Miami to lose another one. It would require, and I'm not even talking. They'd need to lose before the championship game, and then lose the championship game.
I think there would be a lot of controversy if they could put 5 SEC schools.
Because I mean, right now you have Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
And I mean,
whoever loses the SEC championship game is going to be the odd person out.
Well, and that's what we talked about
not.
before. It was like your best bet might be to not even playing the SEC.
Yeah, because like coming into the year, everybody was like, whichever 2 teams make the SEC championship game, they're both going to playoff. I don't know if that's necessarily true right now.
I would say if A&M makes it, that would be the only scenario where
if they lose,
they're out.
Yeah,
just because they're
third
15
loss.
right now.
That'd be the 3rd loss too. Because if A&M makes the championship game, that means they beat Texas.
That's what I mean. So like Texas would be at 2 losses, and then so they would be in, and then A&M would be at 2 losses going to the SEC championship.
So they would have to win.
It wouldn't matter. So I mean, obviously, if A&M gets in, they won, but whoever they play is going to have 2 losses. So whoever A&M in this theoretical world would have beat would have 3 losses. Are they not getting in? Because that would be one of the teams you all just said, is in.
Yeah.
Then now they'd have 3 losses. So.
Yeah.
But you're gonna say again that 3-loss team is not better than a 2-loss Miami or Clemson or SMU, whoever that is, when we get to that point.
Well, so pretty much what it would be
or even a 1-loss
is if A&M beat Texas, they would be number 1. Georgia would be number 2. So then it'd be A&M and Georgia. So Georgia goes in with 2 losses. A&M goes in with 2 losses.
Yeah.
Georgia wins that one. Then A&M gets knocked out, and vice versa.
I think
If A&M beats Georgia, Georgia's out.
A&M. I think A&M has 2 playoff games before the playoff starts.
I 100%
Actually,
agree.
3. Every game from now on for A&M is a playoff game.
Well, yeah, they got to beat Auburn this week.
They gotta beat
They got to
Texas.
beat Texas,
Yeah.
and they got to win the SEC championship.
I
get
agree.
in, to
I
get out.
agree.
Tennessee's in the best spot right now because I think Tennessee now is in the playoff and they won't have to do anything else.
No, because Tennessee can still make the SEC championship game.
But I don't think they. I mean, I think Georgia has to lose again.
I think
though,
Georgia has to lose. And
Why?
Because Georgia has the head-to-head.
No, the head-to-head goes away. The head-to-head goes away if there's multiple teams with 2 losses. There's no head-to-head anymore.
Okay.
Now it goes by conference. Like, it goes by your conference scheduled.
Like opponents.
But even like opponents, that's thrown out of the equation too because there's so many teams that are tied. Now it's a round robin because you can go through the whole thing. We'll be like, oh, well, Tennessee beat Alabama, or Alabama beat Georgia. Well, Georgia, you can make all those cases that each team beat each other, and so that's why all that goes out the door. And now the last thing that separates them is your conference opponent winning percentage. So if you have a weak strength of schedule, you're not making the SEC championship game. And I'm pretty sure Tennessee has a pretty good schedule against.
It's UTEP, and then they go to Vandy. So that's not
So Vandy has a winning record. Georgia has a winning record. Like, all of their conference opponents have a winning record for the most part. And so that's where Tennessee can get into the SEC championship game.
Yeah, of course, I don't want this, but there is the possibility if A&M goes and loses to Auburn then beats Texas, that means Texas, A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi State would all finish at 6-2 in the conference. And then it's just absolute that's chaos.
LSU should have been in that conversation, but they're bums.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what might honestly end up happening is that Alabama's in the SEC championship game.
No,
we talked about that.
They have the best route to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
You
I
understand that.
I'm looking at the scenario right now, and so it says like Georgia needs several results to fall their way to reach the title game. Tennessee needs other stuff to happen.
Alabama has
the win over Georgia and LSU that pretty much.
Doesn't Bama just need us to beat Texas?
No. I'm pretty positive that the winner of the Texas A&M game, if this week goes both of those teams' ways, the winner of that game goes to the SEC championship game, and then Alabama's the next team in, based on winning percentage of conference opponents. Because LSU had the highest winning percentage between conference opponents. They suck and lost. All LSU had to do was win out, and they pretty much were a lock to make the SEC championship game.
It's wild.
Yeah. Even though they lost to Bama.
So we won't know until after
No.
the last week who's going to be in the championship
No,
game.
you will not.
Texas and Texas A&M, that game is almost a book. You can almost bookmark the winner going to the SEC championship game on that game.
As long as this week goes.
Well,
As long as they both
Well, I was
win
going to
this
say,
week.
yeah, like the winner of that one, because you're
Goes
assuming
in.
they both have one loss. The winner of that
Yes.
is a lock.
Yes.
But then
The second team.
But then the loser, like depending on who loses, determines the second seed.
Yes, that's where the
'Cause
conference.
then everybody will have two
Yes.
losses.
That's where LSU was in the driver's seat because they had the best conference opponent winning percentage. Yes, and now Alabama has that.
And they still have Vandy next week, which is not a cakewalk this year.
No.
9-point favorites. I have no idea. Lay the points with Vandy. Lay the points, dude.
On the road or at home?
It's at home, but still lay the points. It's gonna be like a 6 p.m. kickoff, but I guarantee you, like, nobody cares.
Dude, why
6:45 on SEC Network.
Yeah, lay the points.
6:45.
If
Prime
you're
time SEC Network, baby.
If you're playing Prize Picks, take their quarterback over
Take
rushing
Pavia
yards.
to run
Pavia.
Pavia
150
rushing
yards.
Pavia over rushing yards. Take it. It's a lock.
Would you make the argument that they shouldn't actually attempt to pass? Like just let him run.
Just run the ball.
I mean,
yeah.
that's all you have. Like, they literally knew that's what Alabama was going to do, and they still couldn't do anything about it. Like, they knew that was, and they had 2 weeks to prepare for that.
That's crazy, dude.
Take the over. Take Vandy in the points.
Did Sellers
Trust
run
me.
all over him?
All over, but he got hurt. That's the only reason they
Oh,
won.
that's
Yeah.
right.
He left
yeah.
the game.
yeah, because
He-
South Carolina was controlling that game.
Dude, they were up like 17.
They were controlling
Yeah,
that game.
He was running all over LSU.
I wonder if it was a night game, if it would have been different too. I guess like you
Dude,
said,
it would have been a
wouldn't
different
mattered,
game if
but-
he just didn't get hurt.
Yeah, that
Like,
is
they
true.
win that game, no question about it.
God, that changes the whole like outlook of like LSU too, because like they started playing a lot better,
Yeah.
and then the Arkansas game, like they dominated there. It's like, man, LSU's rolling right now, and then
Nussmeier for Heisman.
Dude, I mean,
yeah, he was up
the
there, for
best
sure.
quarterback in the SEC
Yeah.
by far.
Absolutely.
And literally, once that first pick in College Station happened, the offense literally just disappeared.
One of the dumbest passes I've ever seen in my life.
Like legitimately though, like since that pick, it's inexplicable.
Yeah.
Like I don't like they were rolling on offense. The first half against A&M, they were rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I wonder if a lot of it though is like they're just keying on the pass a lot more. Like,
Dude, they rushed for 160 yards against Florida yesterday.
did they really?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, 140. You got to throw in the sack yardage.
That's the
Yeah.
dumbest
because
stat.
he got sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
But they rushed for 160 yards yesterday, and it's not like they broke away like big runs. I think the longest run of the game was 20 yards.
Yeah.
They were just pounding the ball. with
That's
Caden
weird that the
Durham.
college does that, where they count against like
Dumb.
your rushing yards for
Yeah.
being sacked. Like, that's one thing I like about the NFL. It's like it counts against your team rushing, but not like your
LSU ran 91 plays yesterday and lost.
lost. God damn.
They and in the first half they were 30 rushes, 30 passes. They were dead even.
It's probably the first time all year.
Yeah, and lost.
Because I know on one of my prize picks, I had Nussmeier over 37.5 pass attempts because I was like, that's a lot because
Yeah,
they throw the ball constantly.
it was
But-
probably against Arkansas where they ran the ball a ton.
No, it
It
was
dominated Arkansas.
yeah. I don't know, dude. But, oh well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's college. It's women's college basketball season.
We're going
in Baton
to.
Rouge.
Oh, dude, you still have the Duke's Mayo Bowl coming up that you can
Yeah,
play in
against Texas State or something.
Where like 85% of your roster is going to opt out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not play. They're all already in the portal.
Dude, this is actually a big week for that. Like seeing who opts out for LSU because
Yeah.
there's nothing to play for anymore.
True.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from early signing day.
Yeah.
It's right around the
Yeah,
corner.
beginning of December.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, like, if that's going to become more prominent now that you have like a few players that are like sitting out the rest of the year.
Oh, it happens.
Like-
It happened last year. It happens every year.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember seeing.
And
I knew like the bowl games, but I didn't remember
Nah.
seeing like.
A lot of times once you're down to the last few weeks, they'll start sitting out, and that tells a lot about where the direction of the program for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll hop on LSU for one more time, just because I don't know if y'all saw that Bryce Underwood, the number 1 overall recruit in the 2025 class, and
locked in,
the number one quarterback in the country, he was offered $10.5 million from Michigan, and he said nah.
He said no. Yeah, because wasn't it like 25 minutes after they sent that or something?
Yeah, he posted on
put, like, the
Instagram.
LSU,
yeah,
like-
and then the next day he posted it was a picture, like it pretty much copied the exact picture of the report, and it said number 1 recruit declines $10.5 million from Michigan, and he deleted it right after. But
God,
That's
dude.
got to show you the state of Michigan football. For him to just go,
dude, he lives
you know,
30 minutes from campus.
I'm
Really?
I'll
He
take
lives
my
30
chances.
minutes from Ann Arbor, and I was telling Will on the way that assistant coach or whatever that Michigan got in trouble with. Guess where he's coaching right now?
Where?
At Bryce Underwood's high school.
Oh,
Trying to get him to go to Michigan, like
Interesting.
legitimately, and he's still like, nah.
the dude that was like in the hat, like in
Yeah, the spy guy.
yeah,
the one
that's
that's
spy guy.
the one that's costing them. Well, we don't know what's going to all come out of that yet. That hasn't really been handed down. But
Literally a coach at his high school.
Harbaugh said, "Have
Yeah.
fun."
oh yeah, yeah. Dude.
But no, a lot of people are harping on the 10.5 million. Well, it's not really. I mean, it is, but it's a 4-year, $10.5 million contract.
Yeah, like
He's not. He's most likely only playing for 3 years. So theoretically, it's only like a $7 million contract. It's like I think it came out to be like 2.7 or 2.6 a year, which
poor guy.
I'm pretty sure LSU's probably pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to that point, like where they're actually like putting just contracts out,
Dude,
like just like in the NFL? Are they going to start like signing people?
dude, this is a at least from my perspective and from what everybody says, this whole saga and them releasing that number, that is literally a save face for the Michigan like fan base, like because people are questioning like, dude, you have the number 1 recruit in the country, the number 1 quarterback. 30 minutes from campus. Like, did y'all not recruit him? Like, how many other schools are releasing their NIL numbers?
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Like saying
None
like
of
we're
them.
actively trying to get this
No,
guy. Yeah, like,
they're not releasing that.
No.
That information is staying in house. They released that as a public relations thing for their fan base, and we tried all we could. Look, we offered $10.5 million.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to come here.
That also might be a worse look though.
Absolutely,
At 10.5 and he still
eggs
did,
in your face.
like that's even worse.
Absolutely, the kid lives 30 minutes away from campus and hasn't stepped foot on that
You would-
campus in like 2 years.
Yeah, you would think grew up just die hard.
And he was supposed to go to a game a few weeks ago, and he just no-showed. He just didn't show up. Yeah, yeah.
Man.
But kind of like what we talked about outside of the pod, though, it's like if you look at the history of Michigan quarterbacks, like they're not developing.
Dude, they're the 6th worst passing offense in the country, and 3 teams behind them are the service academies who don't throw the ball.
Yeah, who literally only run.
Yeah, they're 6th last in passing offense. What quarterback's like? Yep, let's go there. And then the possible sanctions on the school after that as well. You don't know. If
Well, and
you're
I
ever
think
gonna-
that's a lot of it too. It's like, okay, I go in there, and then all of a sudden we get hit with all these recruiting.
it's a wasted year,
Yeah, where now who am I throwing to? Like,
and it's a wasted year of eligibility.
yeah, exactly. But
You know, and so yeah. I don't know. It's just crazy. The recruiting's heating up too. There's a lot of flips. I know Texas A&M had a
Our
5-star,
quarterback.
the number 4 quarterback in the country.
flip to USC,
Flipped
right?
to USC of all places, but
Lincoln Riley,
yeah.
quarterback. You.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that though. I think there's gonna be a lot of flipping. Ole Miss is cranked it up heavy. They just flipped a 5-star corner from Bama,
Yeah.
and then a 4-star offensive lineman, literally like minutes after the game, just to throw salt in the wound, flipped from LSU to Ole Miss after giving up 7 sacks. We're like, dude, we need you, guy.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm out.
He said, "No, y'all are good."
So,
Good.
there's gonna be more of that for sure. It's gonna be crazy.
Is that guys actually flipping, or is this like where the NIL is coming in and like, hey, here's a little more money?
Probably both. Probably
you know,
both.
yeah.
Yeah, because typically recruits, they don't like. For the most part, from what all of the people who cover recruiting say, like recruits aren't like one loss or multiple losses are going to sway.
Isn't gonna change
That's
me,
not going
yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
They're committed to like a program, to a coach, to a development program. They're committed to all that stuff typically, and money. But
Which the money's always been there. Now it's just a little more open.
for sure, and now that it's more open, like I feel like they can offer more.
Yeah.
But losses don't really matter. I mean, if losses matter, that 5-star quarterback wouldn't have flipped from A&M to USC.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And
for
so-
sure.
Well, or is it that, or is it like, hey, USC? He's from California,
Yeah.
but USC they just benched Miller Moss. There's another guy. He's new. Now it's like with A&M, Reed's the guy. Like
Is
moving
he, though?
forward.
I mean, he is, but like
As a recruit, you're probably assuming though, moving forward, that Reed's going to be the guy for
Yeah.
at least 2 more years.
I mean, but I don't know.
I'm not
I
saying
thi-
he
I
is.
think-
I'm not saying he is,
Yeah.
but like if
It
I'm
looks
if
that
I'm in
way.
that situation, like is
I
that
can
something
play
I want to
now.
go into?
Yeah.
That?
But it's also the fact, like I mean, if I'm a recruit and I'm a 5-star, I'm going in there and being like, I'm going to compete and beat that guy out
Agreed.
because I mean, Marcel Reed's a great running quarterback. I don't think he's a great passer.
I don't think so either, but
If he can develop that, he'll be unbelievable.
he's the exact mold that Colin Klein wants to coach, though. Like that's the kind of offense Colin Klein wants to run. So
Yeah, but again,
he didn't want to run an offense with Wegman because Wegman.
but how sustainable is that though? Like just running the football and not being able to throw downfield. I don't know. That question remains to be seen. But I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
We will.
We will find out. We'll see how far
Yeah.
those 2 legs can take us.
That's
and,
right.
and with that, it just leads to so many more opportunities for injury. You know what I mean? Like you're literally like
Especially when he's built like a 2x4. Like there's
Yeah.
like nothing to him. Like
Yeah.
one big hit would break him in half.
Well, dude,
I
that
mean,
was like
Jaden
Jaden Daniels. Exactly. Like
yeah.
I don't know how that dude survived college. That dude would take freaking shots. He even takes shots in the NFL. Like
Yeah.
he's got He's gonna end up like Tua if he don't learn how to slide.
dude. Tua,
Did y'all see that tackle he tried to make?
Yes.
dude, he went in head first.
We were watching when we were.
live.
Oh my, okay.
Dude literally
I
went,
just
dude. Like
I
he put
couldn't
his head
believe
down.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Well,
He
'cause
was
we
like,
were
"I'm trying
laughing.
to get another one."
Dude, we were laughing because we were talking about our prize picks, and he's like over under 0.5 concussions for Tua, and then dude, he made that tackle. We're like, oh my god!
And like they slowed the
crazy.
replay down, and you see his head cocked back.
like,
I'm-
Head first into the tackle.
Yes, dude.
Like literally head first
ducks
into
his
the
head down to me.
That would have been the first time where if somebody didn't try to attempt nothing, he just started walking off the field after throwing a pick, that'd have been like, fine.
Nobody questions it.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't just get out of there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That dude can't have much left in him. Like he's gonna have 0 brain cells by the time he retires.
Dude's a
too.
savage, I guess.
Like, how many years has he been around?
I mean, he was
This is his
same draft
fourth?
class as Burrow.
This is his 4th year, right, in the NFL.
Yeah, because he hadn't signed his next. Well, he
Yeah,
did
he
sign
has.
his next big contract.
He signed
so
it big,
yeah.
so I think
think
this is
him-
his 4th year.
I think him, Burrow, and Herbert were in the same draft class.
I think so. So was that 2020?
No, that was
2019?
2018.
was Hurts in that one, or was Hurts the year after?
I think he was the year after.
Yeah, because Hurts went to Oklahoma. Was he the year after or year before?
I don't remember.
I think he was year before.
Might have been before, but I'm pretty sure Tua, Herbert. I know Herbert and Burrow were in the same
Yeah.
draft class, and I mean LSU won the Natty in 17,
19.
19. Sorry,
So
yeah,
it was
19.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 draft. Yes, so it's 4 years ago.
So this is year. I'm just thinking for retirement because you have to play for 5 years to get your full retirement for the NFL.
I mean,
So I'm wondering if he's just trying to get his retirement package or what. But-
$200-something million contract. I don't know if the retirement package is needed.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying too. Though, like I'd be like, oh, coach, my head hurts. I can't play right now. Like,
Can we talk about people thriving with CTE though? Mike Tyson,
yeah, he's doing great. Antonio Brown, he's doing great.
dude.
That was the
Did
worst.
y'all watch that fight?
Yes.
Dude, that was.
You can't call it a fight.
No, I will say I
You
did
can't
not.
call it
I
a
did
fight.
not watch the fight. I finally gave up, dude, because Netflix
That was
is
awful, dude.
atrocious. Dude, they have an NFL game scheduled in January on
I know.
Netflix, and they could not handle that.
This was just a test run, dude. But the one thing I will say with this boxing fight compared to the NFL, like that's a international thing. Like they had people from all over the world. tuning into that.
65+ million household logins
Yeah.
tried to stream it.
they said it was 120 million people trying to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was
that's
like-
just
it
that's
was
just
comparable-
household accounts.
yeah.
Yeah. That's not even how many streams. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the counts.
And
So-
dude, and then the whole time Netflix is like live tweeting like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Like y'all see that?
Circles,
Yeah, we did see
circles,
Mike Tyson's ass. Thanks for asking. Like,
But no, the NFL game's not getting that much.
well, yeah, no. I mean, it'll
And
get
so
like,
the server should be able to handle it. This boxing thing was like a
yeah,
international.
but it was
like-
that was a miserable failure.
Oh,
dude.
awful.
A miserable failure.
the other fights before that,
Especially
though,
when it's up there
The-
telling me it's
that
my
women's
internet.
fight was awesome.
the chick fight was
Oh,
pretty crazy.
dude,
Awesome.
Yes,
Dude, that chick was that was a little like shady with the headbutt. She did that multiple times,
dude.
bro.
Did you see the final result too?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they picked. I don't
Yes.
remember the girl that won what her name was, but the Serrano chick, the one that lost, she had 100 more punches landed.
She destroyed her.
and the other chick lost a point for the headbutts and
That's
still
crazy.
won.
Still won.
That's so
Unanimously.
bad. That's so
Yeah.
bad.
And they all scored it the exact same. So they actually had it all scored 96-94.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was 95-94.
Yeah. But the other dude fight was good too.
Dude, I thought all three prelims
Yeah, they were
good.
all-
like,
The prelims were
all
great.
that build up.
It was building up to be great, and then,
But
dude,
we got the fight we probably all should have expected.
Oh,
he looked
for
like
sure.
a 58-year-old man.
I was
trying to
expecting
fight.
that.
Dude,
for
they
sure.
said a month ago he had like a medical emergency.
Dude, no, that was
Like,
in June.
Yeah, because the fight was supposed to be in July originally.
it was supposed to be
Yeah.
in July, and then he had something happen in
He
June.
had like 8 blood transfusions
Yes,
and almost
dude.
died.
Yes.
So the fact that he was even in that ring should have been a red flag to begin with. That's negligent. That's probably why like the fight was like it was.
Well, they said he's been calling Joe Biden to see if he wants to box next. So
Dude, yeah, man. Jake Paul take the Joe Biden fight any day.
I
Yeah.
saw a joke today, and it was like Jake Paul just challenged Babe Ruth to a home run derby match. Ruth died in 1948.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, like if you want to be taken seriously as a professional boxer, go fight professional boxers.
But dude, and like this is bad for boxing. Like that, but this is where the state of boxing is that they're gonna over promote a YouTube star,
But dude,
fighting a 60-year-old man.
see, I agree and I disagree with that because I don't care about boxing whatsoever. I watch that. And people that don't watch boxing ever tuned in for that and probably watched those prelims, which were very good fights. So there's going to be a percentage of people that are now going to go watch boxing again. I think it's a small percentage, but some people will. You don't think so? You don't think?
I don't think so either.
You don't
do
think
not
there's
think so.
anybody in this
I
entire
literally
world
think-
out of 120 million people?
I literally think those 120 million people watch the old people watch to see Tyson, and the young people watch to see Jake Paul.
Agreed. But then they tuned in early to watch the prelims, and there's going to be some people that just got into boxing because of that.
But like,
Yeah,
like,
I don't
Paul
think it's
is the boxing draw right now. Like, because there is no Mayweather, there is no Pacquiao.
There's Canelo.
You got
People-
Canelo.
yeah,
so everybody's gonna tune
Yeah,
in.
there's Canelo,
Independence
yeah.
Day.
No, but
every
there's
year.
Tyson Fury. There's still people that people
Tyson
see.
Fury's gone. He's
flaming
done.
out.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still boxes and
Dude,
people
they're
watch it.
trying to get Francis Ngannou, who's a huge UFC guy, to come do boxing. Like
He fought him.
and-
he already
and
fought.
that's
yeah,
what I'm
he already
saying.
fought
That's,
him.
but that's what I mean. Like,
and that's what I'm saying though. Boxing is slowly going downhill, so this is getting eyes on it again to get some people back into it.
nobody's gonna watch it.
I think there's going to be some people that watch it.
I'm gonna look. Up,
I'm not going to be that one.
I'm gonna look up the viewership after the next major boxing match.
I bet it'll be higher.
There you go. We don't.
I
even,
will say though,
we
like,
don't even know when the next major boxing match is. Like,
No.
I don't know of a
can you
single
name me
big one.
one person that was in the prelims?
No. but again, that's because I don't care. But there are people who enjoy boxing or who used to enjoy boxing who are now probably going to watch it a little bit more.
Did y'all-
I don't care.
I disagree because I think the people that used to enjoy boxing are not going to all of a sudden start enjoying it because Mike Tyson and Jake Paul were fighting.
Well,
No,
this is kind of like
no,
this kind
agreed.
of like as a slap in their face, like
Yes.
the greats of boxing.
If anything, yeah, this is like a disgrace to boxing. Is like this is
the
what we're hyping up
the
now.
prelim fights were not a disgrace to boxing. Those were great
no,
fights.
well, because those were actually like those.
but-
those
Agreed.
that
but
was for
what-
real.
but
what
120 million accounts watched those
What
fights.
percentage of those people watch from beginning to end though?
I mean,
well, nobody because Netflix couldn't get
Well,
it
yeah.
together.
Well,
so
That's what I
yes.
mean. But also I want to
but
know.
probably a big percentage because
we did.
nobody knew what time the fight was going to freaking start, so they had it on.
Yeah.
That's why I had it on. I wasn't planning on watching the prelims, but I turned it on at like 9 o'clock because it was getting late already. I'm like, you know what? This thing, I don't know when this thing's starting. Let's just put it on. And I was watching it, and the fight started to end up being pretty good. So I was like, oh, well, let me watch this.
Yeah.
And then the two chicks were going to fight. I'm like, oh, it's a chick fight. It's probably not going to be that good. But let's
Best
keep
fight-
it on.
fight of the
Let's
night.
keep it on anyway.
Yeah, and it was
Fight of
legit.
the night.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, out of the 120 million, even if you get 500,000 people out of that continue to watch boxing, it's something.
No,
You don't. I think they will be.
I think it'll be if it's a percentage, it's a very low percentage.
I mean, 500 million is a low percentage.
500 million.
Or 500,000. Sorry, 500,000.
500,000 people are not going to start watching boxing.
Out of 120 million,
500,000 people are not going to start watching boxing.
dude, I don't know.
I'll give you
That's-
50,000.
They
that's
might.
like-
They
that's
might
like-
because
that's like 0.5% of the who started watching that.
because I don't know if it's true, but Shaq and Gronk teased that they were going to start some NFL versus NBA guys boxing.
See, but that's what it's going to turn
maybe
into.
it's going to turn into just
It's all
a
YouTube.
joke.
Dude,
Like,
Micah
just-
Parsons challenged Jake Paul to an 8-round bout.
Yeah, but
like,
they've been doing that for years though, like these celebrity boxing matches.
Well, didn't like Le'Veon Bell fight and Frank Gore fight?
yes.
And Nate Robinson they've all fought on a Jake card,
Yeah.
or Jake Paul card,
And they've had
already.
like YouTube content creator boxing
Yeah.
matches, like I forgot the
It
dude.
was Logan Paul fought too.
Logan Paul fought
Mayweather.
There's a British boxer too, or British YouTuber, that very famous guy. He boxed him.
See, but here we go. We all know that those fights happened, and we can't name a single like real boxing thing going on.
No, I agree because I don't care about boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you think 500,000 people are like, I wonder when the next boxing match is. I'm going to watch.
Maybe.
Then
No.
the next one they'll watch is the
I,
next
I
Jake
will.
Paul
I will.
fight.
I will tell you this.
Got him.
There's more people that are likely to do that than they were before this fight because the 120 million people. How many of those people? Like my wife was intrigued about watching Tyson and Jake Paul. Like she wanted to see it, and
Yeah,
there's
because she
never a
knows who
situ-
they are.
I agree, but there's never a situation where she's like, "Yeah, let's watch boxing." Ever.
You know what the other problem is though too is that it's all pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
So like it's also easier to watch because it was on Netflix and people
Yeah.
already have Netflix.
agreed.
Top Rank's been on ESPN like the last 2 or 3 years. ESPN got that contract, so there's been some like title fights on straight up ESPN, and they still can't get the draw.
Yeah.
Canelo still outdraws them. Like
Well,
when they have the
that's-
pay-per-views.
That's
But
also because the UFC is the biggest like
it is
fighting
It is.
like league or well, I don't know what you would say. But
I mean, they had UFC 309 last night.
yeah, it was crazy. Supposedly a great card. I didn't watch it.
Supposedly, I didn't watch it either. Watch the highlights.
But again, I don't care.
John Jones
Yeah.
won.
And I'm
like
not gonna
everybody
pay.
Expected.
Yeah.
And then he gave the championship belt to Trump. Did you see that?
No.
He like went like met him, like gave him the belt. Like
Jesus.
He did the little dance after the
yeah,
win.
he did.
Yeah.
He did the-
I saw something that they're talking about. The NFL's doing that a lot, and they're planning on banning the dance.
Oh god, dude. Well,
I don't know how true that is.
I know they
but-
fined Nick Bosa because he wore the hat
Yeah.
after the game, because like you can't
Which I
you
think that's
can't like
right.
promote
That should be
political
right. Yeah, you
whatever.
shouldn't.
Yeah, like
I agree. Either side, like, don't just.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, let's pick some games.
yeah, let's
shall
go to
we?
our game. So,
Yeah.
not a great slate going on this week. A lot of cupcake games going on, especially like for the big names. Not a lot of even ranked matchups really going on, but we'll just kind of get rolling. The first one that we have coming up, it's a previously ranked, but then not ranked anymore. It's Illinois going to Rutgers, who is a 1.5 point favorite.
I'm going with my dark horse. Sticking it out, Rutgers.
Oklahoma State.
I'm going Rutgers on this one. It's at home. Illinois is not a good football team. They prepared all offseason to beat Ohio State. I mean, to beat Michigan.
Michigan.
They did beat
They
Michigan.
did it. So
They're done. Rutgers. Give me Rutgers.
hey, they're 7-3, dude. I mean,
I know.
Can't take it away from them.
That's right.
Oh, I was just looking at the previous
got, Will?
matchups. Go ahead, Will.
I don't know. Haven't followed either one of these teams as
you
much
don't,
as
you don't watch Rutgers football?
Dude.
I tried.
You're
I
missing
tried.
out, dude.
I'm actually on Rutgers basketball this year. They actually have some good guys. So I was looking forward to basketball. I kind of looked ahead a little bit on Rutgers
There
here.
you go.
So just because of that, I
Based
guess,
on
I
their
guess I'm
basketball team.
gonna go Illinois actually to go in there. I think they now see that they shouldn't have just planned to beat Michigan, and now they're gonna game plan to beat Rutgers.
I'd like to see them try.
Just based on a common opponent, Rutgers beat Minnesota and Illinois lost to Minnesota, and both of them played them at home. So I'm going to take Rutgers.
That's right.
Go Scarlet Knights.
There you go. There you go. Next game, a big one in the Big 12. We talked about that earlier. BYU is going to Arizona State, who are 3.5 point favorites.
That's kind of crazy to me. Like BYU's been the favorite the whole time, and then they lose, and now all of a sudden Arizona State's the favorite.
Arizona State's been playing well.
Arizona State has been playing well. BYU's been kind of hit and miss. I feel like them losing was kind of an inevitability.
Yeah, it was
Just
happening at some
because
point.
like they'd been sneaking away with a lot of wins. Man, it's going to be tough. I'm going to take BYU. I think it's going to be a good bounce back for them. A big game that they're going to need to win to keep themselves in Big 12 championship contention. So I think they're going to be ready to play and kind of go in and still stay on top. So I'm going to take BYU.
I'm going to Arizona State. I'm going to ride the hot hand right now. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. Arizona State plays a lot of close games, but I just think they're just in a better state right now. So I'm going.
There'll be a lot of
Going
points
Sun
scored, that's for
Devils.
sure.
You think points scored?
I think it'll be a lot of points.
I don't know.
What's the over/under?
48 and a half.
How much?
48 and a half.
Oh, that's a low number. I think it'll be right around there. I don't think it's gonna be that high scoring. I think I got Arizona State. That Scatabo running back is a absolute monster. Obviously BYU, their average age is 38 on their roster. So, but I think Arizona State, again, they've been playing very well lately. Scatabo's back, monster at running back. I think they run the ball very well against BYU and win that game.
Be a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely big for a Big 12 implication.
Yes.
So, speaking of Big 12, another massive matchup is Colorado, who has been playing very well lately. They are 2.5 point favorites going to Kansas, who has also been playing well lately.
Yeah, this is a crazy game, especially with Kansas playing as well as they have lately. Man, I think Kansas has some momentum. I think I'm going to go Kansas to win at home, especially because it's a home game. I think it was in Colorado. I'd take the Buffs, but Kansas has a lot of really good talent on offense and have been playing really well. Beat two really good teams back to back. I think they keep that streak going and beat Colorado.
I think the magic runs out. I think Colorado is playing the best in the Big 12 right now. I actually think Colorado is going to win the Big 12 and come crash the playoff party. So, Shedeur Sanders is playing great. Travis Hunter is closing the gap, might even be the Heisman favorite right now.
I think he is.
I like what I see from Colorado. Kansas, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be within a touchdown. I think Kansas has definitely looked like the team that was pre-ranked beginning of the season, finally getting there. But I still think Colorado's going to get it done. Close game though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Colorado as well. I think, like I said, I think they're playing very well also. And I kind of brought it up last week about them getting in the playoff, and I think Kansas is making noise, but I just don't think that they have enough. So, and man, like you can see the NCAA just licking their chops.
Oh, yeah.
Having Colorado in the playoff, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know that they won it. So, and Big 12 officials are some of the worst in the history.
They sure are.
So, I'm gonna take Colorado to win that game. So, should be a good one though.
Yeah.
I hope Kansas does win though. TBH.
Yeah. I agree. Next game, going to Auburn. A&M is 2.5-point favorites on the road at Auburn.
It's a look ahead game. It's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah.
I don't think Auburn has enough though to win it. I think that A&M's gonna win it. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I could see it being about a 7-point game. But I think that A&M's just gonna have too much at the end, and I think Auburn will keep it low scoring, but I think A&M will find a way to sneak it out.
I think this goes back to we talked about earlier, Elko. What kind of coach is he? I think this is a game where you find out what kind of coach he is. Has he really changed the culture? You've already had a game where you had a big game, won, go on the road, and you let it slip. This is the opposite. You have a big game coming up, but you got to go on the road and take care of business first. I'm not picking against my team. I'm going A&M in this game, but I think we're going to find out a lot about what kind of coach Elko is based off the results of this game. But I'm rolling with my team. I got to take A&M.
What's the total on this one?
47.5.
Yeah, that's probably about right. It's gonna.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be low scoring. I think both teams are gonna try to dominate the line of scrimmage, run the football. Obviously,
Do it,
with
Lucas.
Texas A&M.
Do it.
I am. Yeah, I think I think Texas A&M their strength of schedule overall they haven't played anybody and honestly South Carolina dominated that game.
Yeah, they did.
Everything but the second quarter.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I just don't see the offensive output from A&M even with Reed in there. I mean, if it's one dimensional like that, I think Auburn can game plan for that. He's going to have to figure out how to throw the football to be able to beat Auburn. And going to Auburn is not an easy place to play. Like
6:30.
sure. And it's a
6:30.
night game, so
Ooh.
that makes it a lot different as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go Auburn.
And like the crazy thing too is that that A&M has had that Texas game circled.
Oh yeah.
All year.
Since Texas.
All year.
No, since
No.
Texas joined the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Well, since they announced it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Absolutely.
like they knew it was coming back Thanksgiving weekend. Like it's been circled.
Again,
Absolutely.
That's all anybody talked about in College Station.
So
all
like they
weekend.
may not be thinking about Auburn at all
No.
right now.
That's
thinking
why
about Texas,
to me
so,
this is where you find out about your head coach. Like you got to get your guys in the right mindset, go on the road, take care of business, then get to this game. So
Because the history between the two, like I'm pretty sure it's been like back and forth between A&M and Auburn. Like
yeah,
it's not like one team has dominated that series
No,
since A&M joined the league in the
I
West.
I actually went to the Auburn game in A&M last year. I think we won by like 20. It was the game that Wegman got hurt. It wasn't 20, maybe like 14.
Yeah.
It's a lot more closer than other series have been. I mean, it's probably close to 500 in the series.
Yeah.
So.
It's about like the Mississippi State range.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Sadly, I think we're 6-5 against Mississippi.
It is 6-5.
Since we've joined the SEC.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
A&M
gotta have good rivals, dude.
A&M
Sorry.
has won 7. Auburn's won 6.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And it's probably
man.
been a lot of home and away.
It has. It's exactly right.
Man.
Yeah, and so that's why I mean, and again, Auburn has the talent. You saw what they did to Alabama last year. Should have beat them.
They've been in a lot of games this year. They
Close.
just haven't. I mean,
It's because
seven.
they can't take care of the football. They have so many. Their turnover margin is unbelievably bad. So if they could take care of the football, I think they easily win. But
Well, let me ask you this then: could Auburn also flop looking ahead at Alabama next week?
absolutely, for sure. But I
They could, but they have nothing. Like,
they have nothing to play for.
They're just playing spoiler right now. So
Yep.
they're trying to beat everybody just to
Yeah.
make chaos in the SEC. I guess they do have. If we're still playing for bowl games in 2024, they could win
We're not.
win out. But nobody's playing for. Nobody's watching a single bowl game besides the ones that matter. So, which is the playoff games this year. So
Oh, I'm
I'm
watching.
gonna send a poll out. Would you rather watch boxing or a bowl game?
Okay,
Or
yeah.
the Pop Tarts Bowl?
Yeah, or the Armed Forces Bowl. You know,
love our troops. Love our troops.
That's awesome. All right, and then our last game, really the only might be the only ranked matchup at all this week.
is this where college game day is
Game
going?
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
of
got,
course,
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I actually don't think they've officially posted it, but there's
usually
there's
do.
Where
there's
are you
no
gonna go,
other
yeah?
game that they're going to. They have to be going.
I mean,
to Ohio State.
They might go to Miami of Ohio versus Toledo.
No, what was the game earlier? Georgia Southern at Florida State. 1-10 Georgia
Charleston
Southern.
Southern.
Charleston Southern. 1-10 Charleston Southern against 1-9 Florida State.
Yeah.
Didn't they go to like North Dakota State one year or something?
Yeah.
Like it was like some random.
Yeah, they're
Yuck.
going to Indiana Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, where else are you gonna go?
God, I mean
12.5-point favorites Ohio State are.
yeah, you got to roll with Ohio State just because they've been tested this year already. They have a better roster, all that stuff. I'm hoping it's just a good game. I think if Indiana keeps it close, they're pretty much a shoe into the playoff. They should be, in my opinion.
I think they could lose by 20 and they still get in.
You think?
I think they just because
With everything,
with everybody
losing,
with
yeah,
the Big 12 being weaker and the ACC, I just think that
that's a great point.
now if they get blown out by like 40, I think the conversation gets a little bit longer. But
Yeah.
I think they'd have to really blow up here.
I hope Indiana wins. I'm-
Signetti just got a big contract extension.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm pulling for Indiana. I don't think they have the talent to do it. But, I mean,
Yeah.
they've blown out every team, pretty much every team that they played this year. That's another thing. They haven't had a tough
Except
schedule.
Michigan.
Yeah, well. But, again, I think that's a logo game, one of those logo games where it's just like one of those things. But they've pretty much blown out every team that they've played. There's not much more you can do.
Coming off a bye, Indiana, right? Indiana had a
Yeah,
bye.
they're coming off
Yeah.
a bye. Yeah.
I am going to Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Indiana wins. Hope they keep it close.
I'm echoing all of that. I think everything Lucas just said is right on point. I hope it's a good game for the sake of college football. It'd be awesome for Indiana to win, just because they're not known, first 10-win season, all that jazz. But Ohio State is too good. Ohio State is, arguably the best. I mean, obviously Oregon's the best team because they won head-to-head, but it was at Oregon. If you flip that to Ohio State, we would get having the exact same conversation the other way. They're one of the best two teams in college football. I don't think they lose this one at home.
I do wish it was at Indiana because I feel like the potential for a closer game would be much higher. But, I mean, I am super impressed with Indiana, like, just the way that they have played all year. Like, I know strength of schedule hadn't been there, but they're still playing super tough. But I don't think they win the game, but I do think that it ends up being pretty close. Just because you look at the way that Ohio State's played against, like, more physical teams, like Nebraska, they beat by 4 points. Like, Oregon, they lose by 1. Like, Penn State, it was pretty close. Like, the teams that have been more physical are a lot closer games. And so,
I mean, they played Northwestern this weekend, and
yeah,
Northwestern went up early, and they didn't take off until the second half.
31-7.
It ended up being 31-7, but
yeah.
Ohio State didn't really start taking off until I think it was late second quarter.
Yeah, it was like the end of the first half.
Had to
yeah,
wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
so-
I think if you can play physical and you can stay within the whole game, I think absolutely Indiana can hang with them the whole game. But
Yeah.
I think just at the end, if you look at talent and everything else, I think Ohio State's going to find a way to
Yeah.
win it. So, but I mean, like y'all said, I do hope it is a good game. But
Yeah.
so yeah, man. What else you got?
Nothing. Soccer's an international break.
Yeah, Tyler Adams not playing for the United States. They say he finally came back from injury,
Yeah.
and he decided not to play, which they said is probably a good thing
Oh,
because
yeah.
you don't want anything happening immediately afterwards. So,
For sure.
Excited to see what United States soccer can do over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Get ready to win a title on our home turf.
God, that'd be so sick.
Hope y'all are saving up for your tickets.
I'm winning the lottery, and not the lottery, but there's a lottery to buy tickets.
Or we can just do like Argentina and Colombia did, and we'll just break in and just climb through the AC
True.
vents and get in. Like,
That's a good point. Yeah, that's crazy.
but yeah, man. Well, yep, well, that's all I got. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, we appreciate everybody sticking around and listening to us today or watching. Appreciate Will coming on for another week. Always a pleasure. Always good input and everything. Continue to follow, like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends about it. Just take a minute. If you scroll across our page on Facebook, just hit that share button. You don't have to put descriptions. Hit share it with your friends. Just spread the word. Tell everybody how great a job we're doing. So, but yeah. But other than that, just continue to like, subscribe, listen to us. We're on all the social media: Facebook, Instagram, X,
Blue Sky.
TikTok, MySpace. We're everywhere. So we don't have an OnlyFans, but maybe
Not yet.
someday. But yeah, but other than that, we appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.